Hi, Kitchen Kings and Queens. I am back, and we're going to do the Italian one today. This is going to be a very short video because the other video, as we speak, it is Sunday, and it is still uploading from yesterday. So I did try and get it for you yesterday, but it is still uploading. Okay, so I actually brought out my Magimix, which is a Roku food processor. And I brought that out so that you can see it, and it's a great food processor. So unfortunately, there are no American-made food processors anymore, and there's very few that are made in anywhere other than China, with the exception of this, which is made in France by the original makers of the food processor, the inventors. So this is my recommendation if you want a food processor. It's an investment. There are other sizes too, but this is it's really worth the money. It's an investment, but you'll have it forever. The bowl, it has three different types of bowls. Okay, so it has this mini bowl with a mini chopper, similar to my Oscar, but it's built in. Then there's the midi bowl, and that one can be used with the slicer and shredder. So we're actually going to use that when we do the different types of cheeses, so that we could keep the mozzarella separate from the more rich cheeses. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little prep. So I'm going to peel up this garlic that I have so that I don't have to chop garlic all the time. I'll just kind of have it like that convenience garlic that they have at the store. The problem with that is it sits for a while. So the oil has a lot of garlic flavor, but other than that, the garlic's pretty unpotent. It's also, they do a lot of chemical processes to get the garlic peeled, because as you can see here, this is very time consuming to do. So that's one of the reasons why I recommend making it yourself. And it's the same process. You're going to literally do the same thing that they do, except yours is going to be more potent if you do it yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel your cloves of garlic. Okay, I like to peel off the butt end. And if there's any like weird spots, you can kind of cut them out. I'm also using this great little paring knife here. This is a Wusthof, and we'll talk about American-made knives, which I have a lot of nice American-made knives. But this one is the only one that I have this this bird's beak paring knife, and it's really good for this because it has that curve. It's a really thin blade, and it makes good work of peeling or cutting off the butt ends of the garlic that connect to the bowl. Okay, so pop that off. And so you're going to get a bunch of them and get it all filled up. So I'm probably going to do like 2 or 3 of these mutant cloves that I have here. And that should give me a good amount. Then that'll also give me about 3 cloves left. And this garlic, I'm telling you, it's really good. I really wish I remember where I got it, but I really forget where I bought it. But it was great, and it's big, and there's a lot of them. So That's good stuff. So once I chop it up, and for time's sake, I'm not going to sit here on camera and peel all this garlic. So I'm just going to stop here, and I'm going to give you a little tutorial on what you want to do with this. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on the food processor. Okay, and I'm going to use the pulse button because that will give me, first of all, okay, so for a food processor, the pulse button is going to give you greater control over the chopping. So every time you stop that, it kind of brings everything back down, so you get that chopping that you want. If you go on auto, it just does it till it's done. Okay? So if I had more garlic in there, I'd probably just do the auto. But this is what you get. So it gets all chopped up like this. And you have a nice dice, just like you get in the grocery store. And then you're going to take a container. And I'm going to use this for now. So my little cups here. And I'm just going to scoop it out and pop it in there. Okay, as you can see, this it's not even one bulb of garlic, and this is already a ton. So these big garlic, they really are great. So you just take it out, pop it in there. Man, wasting some of this garlic. That's okay. I'm gonna clean today anyway. And you're gonna pop in some oil, saturate it with the oil, and that's also gonna flavor the oil just like we talked about before. And then that's going to give you your minced garlic. So anytime you need garlic for a recipe, you just pop some out. Okay, so that's that. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry, just had to grab something. So you may have also heard in the background, on Sundays, I like to watch In the Kitchen with David. I find that it's really a fun show to watch. They have some cool kitchen gadgets and stuff there. So that's what was on in the background. So, okay, here's the cheese. All right, and like I said, we're going to use these two bowls. Okay, so I'm going to use the midi bowl to grate our mozzarella cheese. And I'm actually going to show you, so that we could just do this all in one video. I'm going to show you, I put the bread or the dough in the oven and proofed it. Okay, so it's now filled the pan. It's popping up. There's little bubbles in there. I don't want to turn it on its side too much because it'll start sliding around. So I'm going to pop on the oven, and we're going to preheat this to 425, which is what we baked it at last time. We're going to par bake it for its first bake, just like we did before. And then we're going to do the final bake. Okay, so I'm going to take a big chunk of this mozzarella, and we're going to slice that into the midi bowl. Okay, I'm not going to take a ton because if you remember from the last video, I actually have a pretty good amount. So notice this one has a really nice size feed tube. So I could put that whole thing in there and we're going to be good to go. Okay, so that's all there is to it. Okay, so there's our mozzarella, and see how great this is. You just take this bowl out and bam, now we're ready for the next bit of cheeses. I could not find any Asiago, so it looks like we're going to be doing just fontina. So this is my piece of fontina that I have. I'm just going to pop that in there, and the sharp provolone. Okay, and this is really good, funky, sharp provolone. Okay, so like I said yesterday, we're going to focus this recipe on a more traditional Italian blend of cheeses. Okay, and we're going to use cheeses that mirror what is in the Northeast PA one. So we're going to use the mozzarella, of course, because that is an Italian cheese, but we're going to add the sharp provolone and the fontina. The fontina is actually more in line with the mozzarella than it's like a more flavorful mozzarella, but it's more creamy and melty like the mozzarella is, as opposed to the sharp provolone, which is more sharp like the cheddar cheese. Okay, so there's that. So let's grate that up. And we had a little bit of chef snacks that went in there. And I think I'm going to pour this in the garlic bowl, because I just had an idea here. Okay, so yesterday, if you remember, I said, and I remember that I had a bit of pepperoni, a stick of pepperoni that I could have used. So I'm going to do half of this with pepperoni. So I'm going to clear out this bowl and put it back on. And we're going to switch out the blade. Done with that one. And we're going to get this slicing blade here. Ooh. And I want to do a thin blade. Okay, so I'm going to get this pepperoni and I'm going to put that on there and grab the pepperoni stick. Okay. Okay. So this is, oh, it's imported. Interesting. Doesn't say where, but I would assume Italy. But you know, pepperoni really is not Italian. There's no real pepperoni there. It's like salame calabrese. So Calabria is like the spicy region of Italy. So that's where any spicy stuff is made. So I'm actually going to hold this at first, okay, because it's on a slant, okay, and then now I'm just going to push it down. All right, so there's our chef snacks. So I'll munch on that later. Oh, this smells really good. Okay, and there we go. Now we have our pepperoni. Okay, So that I'll use for the pizza. And we'll come back and we'll put it together and then we'll see the final product. Okay, kitchen kings and queens, I am pulling out the pizza par bake. Okay, just like yesterday. It looks great, nice and ready to rock and roll. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little spoon here. Actually, you know what? That's this one. Okay, I'm gonna put my sauce on, and I think we're gonna put. We actually need a little bit more than that. Okay. So you want to make sure it's got a nice base of sauce. Okay, I'm trying not to get it to the edge there. Oh, this one. So I used a little bit more dough this time. So I was hoping that it would plump up a little bit more, and it did. Okay, so I'm going to put also I have some of the onion left over from yesterday. So I'm going to put some of that on. And I'm going to try and keep it on the side that I put the pepperoni on. Okay, so I think pepperoni and onion is a really good combination. It's one of my, other than just extra cheese, I really enjoy that combination. Okay, so there's that. I forgot I did have some cheese left over from yesterday, some of the mozzarella, and I also had some shredded provolone and what was the other one? Fontina. So I'm going to put that on first before I use my freshly grated. I'm also going to add some other cheeses here. Okay, these are the grated cheeses. Okay, so I'm going to add some. Where's my Parmesan? Okay, I have some. It's actually Grana Padano, which is like a more chill version of Parmesan. Man, I don't know where that went. Ah, there it is. Put it in the butter container. Okay. And then I also have a traditional cheese from the region that my family is from, which is Abruzzo. So it's a pecorino cheese, which is a sheep's milk cheese. Okay, so we're going to put on the Parmesan first, and then we're going to put on the pecorino or the locatelli cheese. Okay, and that's going to give it a little funk and a little more tang. Notice I was a little lighter with the pecorino just because it's a really strong cheese. Okay, so we're gonna put on some more mozzarella here, and then we're gonna really hit it with the fontina and provolone, sharp provolone. Okay, and I left kind of like a little crust there, but now that I have the cheese, now I could kind of push it out a little bit. What I was trying to avoid is having the cheese run, or the sauce run over the crust and into the pan. We want it to kind of be on the top there. Okay, so this side's going to be the real cheesy side. Then we're going to put our pepperoni, and I'm just going to do it on this side of the pizza. Okay, because I'm just curious what this is going to be like with all of the nice sharp Italian cheeses. Okay, so pepperoni's on that side, and more of the sharp cheese on that side. Okay, so there we go. And you know what? What the heck? Let's put a little of our chopped garlic in there since we worked so hard on that. Okay, some nice chopped garlic on there. I always put garlic powder on my pizza anyway, so this will save me a step. And you know what? Since I love onions so much on pepperoni, I'm gonna cut up some onions since I have just a little bit left of this onion, and I'm gonna pop that on that side too, on the pepperoni side. Trying to get as much as we can, and I just want it to be kind of like a thin slice. We want it to almost like the chopped onions. We just want it to kind of melt in with the fat of the pepperoni. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stack this. Give that a couple slices. Okay. That a sprinkle on top. Ooh la la. Oh man, my oven went off. That's okay. All right. Don't do what I just did, okay? You should never use the sharp part of your knife on your hands. That was really bad modeling of kitchen behavior. Knives are nothing to mess around with. They're very, very sharp, they're very dangerous, and they're very, very important tools in the kitchen. So don't do what I just did. Okay. All right, so there it is, ready to go in the oven. Okay, and I'm gonna just preemptively say I'm gonna put it in for like I did last time. I'm gonna put it in for 20 and check it at 20. Okay. All right. One last return, and then we will see our final product. Okie dokie, kitchen kings and queens. Here we are. Here's our final product. Okay, and looking good again. I am not going to cut it this time. I'm going to let it sit and have some patience and make sure that it gets cut nice and good. But as you can see, there's a very big difference in this one and the one that we had from yesterday. Okay, so I hope you enjoy. I hope you try this recipe too. And I will see you later. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye, Kitchen Kings and Queens.